And welcome to this episode of the Real SuperGeeks podcast. On this, my
Ninth.
dates for all my myriad of... I got too much shit on my desk. It's
the 9th.
The 9th of April 2021.
I'm glad you remembered the month.
Great start. Folks.
Sounds like it's been a week, sweetie. Ross.
Ross is already drinking.
Boowump is appropriate. Yes. Welcome to the Real SuperGeeks podcast. My name is Ross. Live, love, play. The eyebrows of Doom himself. I've been called Grizzly Adams this week. I guess I get it.
Mountain Man.
We got a great show for you guys tonight. Greg, why don't you run us through our Trello and tell us what we're talking about?
All right. So on the Trello,
hold on. Wait a minute. What is this stuff?
We did this last week. There we go.
I know. Oh, wrong one. There you go.
Okay. So, oh my God, see, hit the wrong button. Okay, so on the Trello this week, what we're going to be talking about tonight, season 2, episode 6 of Picard, 2 of 1. Who knew Girardi could belt out a tune? We're talking about Halo, episode 3 of season 1, Emergence. And if we have time, we'll discuss Moonknight. For some fun gaming topics, we have Monkey Island 2. Ross will enjoy talking about that one. Sonic ends up becoming more popular than Pokemon. More on that one. And that got us all giddy with excitement to Andromeda and back. Star Trek Picard drops a season 3 teaser casting announcement with the entire OG bridge crew coming back, from Michael Dorn to Brent Spiner, LeVar Burton, and man,
suck it, Carlos. Suck it, Carlos.
So that's what we have for tonight, guys.
We got a great show for you tonight. A lot of fun stuff to talk about. Let's say hi to all of our wondrous hosts. You've already met Greg. Tell us about your week. How you doing?
Been a good week. Got a couple assignments turned in for homework. I was a good student. Last night I hung out with a couple best friends, and man, we were out till 12:30 this morning, and I only got a couple hours of sleep, so I'm ready to do this show. Let's sleep.
All right, thank you, Greg. That growling you hear in the background is the consternation of our producer, Justin. How you doing this week?
Hello. Yeah, it's been a good week. Getting everything kind of going. It's living a stress-free life. Who would have thought the world of difference it would have made?
Not having fire alarms going off constantly probably is doing a number on your adrenal system.
That and actually being able to sleep at night without them damn things going up is amazing.
And returning, a friend of the show, guest host, we got Raul Dabaul, the raging Cuban himself. How you doing?
Hello, everyone. Good to see you again.
Well, how's your week?
Oh, my week. I'm getting ready for a trip to Miami, which is, the paternal home in the United States of all Cubans. So I'm going to go visit my father, who is 85 years young and still fighting the fight.
Excellent. Glad to have you back. And last but not least, Sunseal. Where are you this week?
There we go. I need to hit the unmute button. Well, this week I decided I would go sightseeing. So, I guess I'll let you guys decide where I am this week. Where do you think I am?
Is that the Zardoc city?
From where?
Zardoc, the movie with Sean Connery.
You mean Zardoz?
Zardoz, there we go.
Nope.
It definitely has a 70s, 80s sci-fi look to it.
Yeah, I can't quite place it.
But I can't place it either.
I decided to take a trip to Shadazar.
Where's
Shadazar? What? Conan the Destroyer.
Oh! Long time, yeah.
We all get a good for that fail on that one. There goes our nerd card. I'm glad none of you first said Minas Tirith because I would have smacked you myself.
We
I feel
all
like,
would have taken a turn on that.
I mean, I do have the whip.
So yeah, my week has been filled of actually watching a whole bunch of stuff. I kind of have a list for what have we been watching this week.
Nice.
Great.
All right.
All
Let's
right.
see if I
Well,
get
thank
the
you,
store.
son. Thank you, everybody. Let's
Hey.
get what?
Does it actually work?
What? Oh, for me, I've been a single parent this week.
Yeah, that
shipped off.
explains why it looks like Shaggy do. Okay.
The wife went to Louisiana for a bit of a work trip, leaving me alone with the kiddo. And on the one hand, oh boy, but on the other, I was actually able to get some fun hobby stuff done. I completed my first model in repainting my old Tau army, including full magnetization
Very
of
cool.
all but the plasma rifles. Those are staying on. And got some nice. I'm also trying out basing in earnest, using milliput to create uneven texture and adding a bunch of other fun stuff on there. And it's looking great. I'm loving how it's turning out. Experimentation is fun. But I was up till about 2 a.m. last night doing this, so another reason why I look kind of
Well.
And if I tongue tie myself, much like with the intro, now you know why.
One often stays up till past 2 a.m. experimenting in
Yes.
certain locations.
Oh my!
Doing certain things.
I don't know anything about that.
Let's get
very
into
difficult.
our topics for tonight. First, of course, as we heard from Greg, we've got the latest episode of Star Trek Picard. Their crew continues their exploration of the year 2024, trying to find and correct the divergence that Q caused that led to the dystopian future that they all witnessed. With the reveal of the supervisor, who has been watching over Jean-Luc's own ancestor, ironically named Rene Picard, the astronaut on the Europa mission out into the far reaches of the solar system. But she's having a crisis of confidence, and her therapist, Q, has been encouraging her that she's unable to do the things that she has set out to do, and she is ready to quit. The only opportunity for them to change her mind and make sure that she is safe, Picard and the crew of the CSS La Serena are on a heist, and they have to break into the donors' gala, where the astronauts and crew all rub shoulders with the wealthy elite of the United States and the city of Los Angeles. But Q has another card to play, that being our latest Soong ancestor. Brett Spiner returns, as does Issa Briones, as the latest incarnation of the Soongs. In this case, we got a bit of a mad scientist, as we eventually learn. But he has come to the gala with the express purpose of keeping Renee off that mission and making sure Picard fails in his mission. He initially seems to succeed at first, as he warns security that Picard is a dangerous individual. But with the quick thinking of his team and a little intervention from the Borg Queen inside Agnes Jurati, with one hell of a music number, he is able to quickly change personas from guest to security guard, where he offers a pep talk to Renee and gets her back on track for the mission. Desperate to make sure that he succeeds in his own mission and save his erstwhile daughter, the Soong decides to try and run them both over, with Picard shoving Renee out of the way and taking the car hit for himself. Time to see what this synthetic body is capable of. He's rushed off to the clinic where Rios was originally taken to, where the doctor shorts out her own defibrillator, trying to resuscitate him. Picard's life is saved, but he's not waking up. He's trapped within his own mind and in his own memories. And so our supervisor is going to go in to save him and pull him back out. But Girardi is MIA, AFK, and no one knows where she is. And Agnes is about to tear up this town.
Yep.
Literally.
Let's start with you, Raul. What'd you think of this episode?
I did not see it. I apologize. I've been busy. I'm so sorry.
Spoiler alert. A little late on the spoiler warning, Justin. Come on.
Shut up. Alert.
Okay,
No, you.
so Justin's broken.
Well, I
That's
mean,
right.
that
You
must
said
have
you
been
haven't
obvious
watched
for a long time.
anything yet. What have you watched so far?
I've watched the first episode.
Okay. How about Halo
I watched the first episode. That's all I could manage.
and Moon Knight?
All of it. I love Moonknight.
All right.
Well, of course.
All right. Justin, what did you think of this episode of Star Trek?
Well, first off, let's see, Carlos. We got this one right. I mean, we all figured that Borg Queen was going to take over Girardi at some point, and here it starts. But overall, it was a good episode. Kind of wondering why we didn't get much of Seven or what? I can never remember. Rafi this episode. I noticed. Now, next episode looks like we're getting them, but yeah, it's like this episode, they weren't even barely a footnote. Soon must play GTA 5 because man, he done that like a boss. Holy shit. Let's see here. Kind of wonder, if Q really had anything to do with this. I'm still on the fence that this is his doing. Like it's all his fault. I may think it might be him, but it might be a future version. I don't know. We'll find out. But predictions. I'm gonna do a quick prediction for next week. Let's see here. Renee is going to become assimilated at some point. And I think somehow it's all going to go wrong, and then they figure out how it goes wrong. Because Girardi and the Borg Queen.
I don't even think your friend Georgia Crack is doing that crazy.
Time is broken at the beginning of this series. What if we're looking at a causality loop?
Exactly.
And it's the Borg Queen inside Girardi
that's causing it.
That breaks time with what she does here.
Exactly. So, might be interesting to see how that plays out. And I'm really thinking this is going to be a 2-season arc. Despite what Carlos says, despite what the producers say, they've lied to us before. The producers have lied to us before. They've said one thing and something else has happened to throw us off. So I would not be surprised that it's a big epic story that winds up bringing in the OTNG crew. Have a big old send-off next season, which we'll talk about later on. But yeah, that's my take on it. Let's see, who wants to go next?
Greg, what did you think of the episode?
Overall, I like the episode. I wouldn't say it's my favorite one of the season thus far, just because like the whole trope, like we see Picard is all 34 minutes earlier. It's like, okay, that's an overused trope, but I got past that, so I was enjoying the episode.
Yeah, that was an old 80s song. How the hell does she know that?
The Borg Queen knows it.
So overall the episode was great. I really feel this is turning from Star Trek Picard to Star Trek Girardi because Alison Hill is owning this show. Like, she was very okay. I don't want to say this in disrespectful way. She wasn't a particularly good character in season 1. She got flushed out okay.
Yeah.
But season 2, like, holy crap, Alison Hill has just like stepped it up. I did one of the best interactions of this episode next to Girardi and the Borg Queen was definitely Jean-Luc and Renee having that heart-to-heart. Like, that was one of the best, and that interaction came off so non-rehearsed. They came off very heartfelt. Like, those two the chemistry was there. So I really appreciated that, what they talked about, how he got her back on track. And if anybody's gonna pep talk you, it's Jean-Luc Picard. I'm sorry. So Rios is absolutely enjoying his ass off with this. He goes, look at this, a real cigar. Look, imagine the box. Have you ever seen this? It was so great.
Mhm.
I did so I have more gripes than I do likes with this episode. My last real big like was the whole distraction and power goes off. I was like, okay, what do they got? And then all of a sudden, Girardi comes out belting out that jazz song. I mean, Jonathan Frakes started the episode. We're having a jazz song. Allison Pill, good lord, that girl can sing. Her and Issa Briones need to cover Blue Sky together.
Ooh.
But yeah, Allison Pill did that, and it was now spoiler, it was the Borg Queen, because when she comes to, what just happened? And the Borg Queen gave her the endorphin rush, which let her take over essentially. So I know Ross Ross lost something to say on that one. So a couple of my small gripes were, Seven and Rafi feel very wasted after the second episode of the season.
Yeah.
Seven had no dialogue in this episode aside from background dialogue. Rafi is very much, I get why she's emotional, but to me, Picard should be more emotional over Eleanor, and he's very much reserved because he's dealt with it his whole life of loss. And I honestly, so is Rafi. So it's like Rafi's really playing the heavy emotional card, and she really needs to check herself. And it's like she's trying to have Seven talk to her. Rios has tried talking to her now. It's like, I get Eleanor's a big loss, but it's like I feel like they're wasting her arc in this season too. When they're looking over Picard, it's like anybody who knows anything about Q is lying unconscious right now. In the back of my head, I'm like, I'm sorry, Seven? For Christ's sake, Junior saw her naked. You don't think she has any knowledge of the Q? So yeah, Q, she knows about Q. She knows who Q is. So I felt like that was very much like, okay, she has dealt with Q. She knows about Q. So it's like, that's where they're kind of wasting Seven on that
Well,
one.
she kind of
knows-
dealt with Q Junior. And
But
never
she was
really.
okay,
Q, but she doesn't have as much personal interaction with
Right.
him as Janeway and Picard did.
that's true. But it's just like when they're like, oh, who knows about Q? I mean, Seven may not have her implants, but she clearly, when she did her little cognitive test, she still has her intelligence, her memories there. So it's like she very much access like, oh, well, this is what I do know about Q through my interactions
Yeah.
with Voyager.
And
Yeah.
the Borg wouldn't know much about the Q either, because as far as we know, they rarely had any interactions with them.
I mean, don't provoke the Borg.
I wrote this down.
So-
I wrote this down on a note.
All right,
Maybe
let's
this will-
let Greg finish. We can get your time in whenever you get. Yeah, let's. Not.
So just the last couple of days. So that was all, like, okay, hopefully they fleshed out Seven a bit better this season. I'm like I said, I'm enjoying Girardi. Okay, so I should have known better having watched TOS. When Talon pulled out her little tool, which Gary Seven used in TOS, I was very much like, a sonic screwdriver. I couldn't have been the only one
Leia,
thinking that.
smack him. Leia, please smack him.
But I can appreciate. So I did see some complaints on this one. I will defend Talon. Like, oh, how is this possible? Like, she's a watcher. She has technology from who knows when and where. She just mapped Picard's brain better than a tricorder can. Just let it go. And
Did anyone not
anybody
watch TOS?
Right. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, this and that about Talon. I'm like, did anybody catch when she was trying to help Renee? I think when she was walking away getting ready to go, she spoke Romulan.
Mm-hmm.
Every device she uses is Romulan. It has Romulan language on it. She spoke it. So I'm like, okay, stop giving us the bone here. So this was very much interlude to the next episode.
Rising action.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Filler.
I think while
Shut
Talon is going
your
to Brandon
mouth,
Picard,
Justin.
while Talon's going to Brandon Picard, I very much think Rios and Rafi and Seven are probably going to look for Girardi because they're going to realize, hey, we're missing somebody. But it was good. Like I said, my interactions were Picard and Renee, and then of course Girardi belting out that tune. It was great.
All right, thank you, Greg. Son, what'd you think of the episode?
Is hate a word I can use?
No.
We got a contrarian. Let's hear it.
I hated the constant flashback bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh, yeah.
couldn't
Huh?
stand it. Look, as a hook for the intro to the episode, amazing, cool. Then carry on the episode. Don't keep doing this whole 30-something minutes ago, 20-something minutes
Yeah.
ago, 14 minutes ago. It's like, please, for the love of God, just get on with it. We already got the announcement that everybody else is getting back together for season 3. Why do you have to do this in an episode? We already know he's going to survive. Oh, and now Sung is the new Tarka. Thank you for killing any emotional impact that Sung could have ever had this entire fucking season.
Here we go.
Yeah, that's something we found out about Sung in this episode. He's literally a mad scientist cloning people.
Well,
He's better than
eugenics war.
Yeah, he's doing eugenics war stuff. Soji's an augment. Or not Soji. What's her name?
Renee,
Corey.
no. Yeah.
Corey. K-O-R-E. Corey.
Of course.
Corey's not.
Which is another name for the first daughter, Persephone.
Persephone.
Oh.
Yeah.
All of the creations he's created are all based on the Greek and Roman mythology.
I didn't catch that.
Because at one point he calls one of the children Atlas as well.
I did hear that, yes.
But yeah, no, like, thank you for killing any genuine sympathy I would have had for Sung this entire fucking season by making him as bad as Tarka. At this point, it's not even that he cares about Kore anymore. It's literally that he cares about his experiment succeeding. So thanks for that. Thanks, Kirsten.
Well, soon, same type of Soon that was on Enterprise. That was in lockup because, he only cared about his children surpassing and cared about his experiments, which is why he was locked up. I mean, they kept the Soon true to his word. And Soon was the same last season.
What I'm getting at is that so far we've only had one not prick of a Sung, and that's the season 1 Picard Sung, because we've not spent the time with him to find out he's a fucking prick.
Well, he was kind of prick. He was going to, he was kind of there until he found out what was going on. Then he was like, "Oh, wait a minute."
The dude literally created the technology for himself to live longer and create more robots until he decided to give it to Picard, graciously.
Not prickish.
Exactly.
Probably. Well, he did learn the lessons from his father, so I mean, maybe he just decided.
I'd argue Noonien is not a prick.
Evil mad scientist.
He faked his own death and
Faked
lived in
his
exile
death.
for.
Created a version of his wife after her death in the same incident that he escaped from. Created 2 children, Data and Lore.
3 children.
First one,
4.
Well, he created the prototype B4.
Yeah.
Created Lore before Data. Lore was the much more complete android, but was such a fucking terror he dismantled it.
Not
Data's
prickish.
running around the universe doing all kinds of stuff, and Sung doesn't know that Lore's been reactivated, but still makes the emotion chip for Data anyway. I'll be completely fucking honest, that the TNG Sung is nuts. Just fucking prickish nuts.
It seems to run in the family.
But yeah, no, genuinely caring for this Sung, out the window. Don't give a shit anymore.
Well, they generally don't care for any of the things. You care for the kid, though.
To be honest with you guys, I don't think they're supposed to be sympathetic family in general.
That's what I gathered.
there's a price, and that's the price sometimes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking. It's it's we're not supposed to like Soon. Now the kid, yes, we're supposed to like her, but the Soon himself, no. He might redeem himself later on, but starting off right now, no.
If this was about killing this was about killing that sympathy to begin with, you succeeded.
Mm.
Because up until this point, you actually made Sung a sympathetic character. Because
Not
at this point, he was still saving his daughter.
Yeah.
Now he's saving an experiment.
Yeah, and well, that first when we first saw him when he was doing his presentation to the board, I felt uneasy with him when he said, "Imagine I'm a god." But yeah,
So-
then we find out what Soji found, not Soji. She isn't
Corey.
Soji.
You're not the only one that does. You're not the only one that's done that.
Yeah,
Like almost every review, they've gone through every fucking name but Corey at different points in reviews.
But yeah, I think that was the point, was tarnishing him to make him unsympathetic, to see the length he will go for success. He does seem to care for Corey. I got it right. But I mean, and his the word I'm looking for is escaping me. That release of emotion when he came back after running over Jean-Luc was it seemed like he did care about her. He does care about her as much as a daughter as it is an experiment. But combine that with the parade of brutal failures of children that he's created is horrific.
Yeah.
Well, they say the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. So if we have a series of unsympathetic parents, then we're gonna get a series of unsympathetic children.
Eric wasn't unsympathetic. He seemed like he did generally want his augments to be empathetic and to be good people, to be good augments, to usher in a new age of humanity into a wider galaxy. But still, and of course that backfired terribly.
So
The road is paved with intentions.
So at the start of this episode, we get Picard and not Laris conversing about Laris being a Romulan.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny because Miss Gary Seven's pad thing from the last episode had Romulan script on it.
Yep, as Greg said, she spoke in Romulan. That there's a parallel there that we're definitely going to get at some point.
So the Queen creates an EMP pulse thing and turns out all the lights, right?
Yep.
Except that one fucking spotlight and all the lights on the stage. Convenient.
Yep.
They weren't on.
The spotlights on the stage were on.
The spotlight hit Girardi as she started singing.
The spot and there were wall-mounted spotlights hanging down towards the floor on the stage itself that were on. The like everything was turned down like you were about to watch a movie. This is like, what are you, okay? What?
You do realize that the Queen was jacked into everything. She could turn everything on and off at will because if she did the fake IDs, she's in that entire electrical system.
Well, the fake IDs was done with an
flash drive.
Yeah.
But I'm like, this is the Borg Queen we're talking about, so I'm pretty sure she.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be an interesting reveal later, maybe. But it's like,
it's
really
definitely revealed. If you watch next week's preview, it's kind of shown that the Queen is taking over the Las Serenas systems while the crew are hunting for Girardi. So it's in the realm of possibilities.
And I have to agree with you, Justin. This whole thing that they're doing, which is really late in the fucking season to be dealing with this shit right now. This whole thing can't be the central plot point because it makes no fucking sense.
It's not. There ain't no way in hell it is. I mean, I think it's part of the plot.
How does in any way, shape, or form Sung killing or making Renee not go to space make him the equivalent of God later?
This is, like I said,
Q has a plan of some kind. I just don't know what it is yet.
Well, and then that's the other question. All his grants and funding and shit, that's all gone. Where the hell did he get enough money to become a donor for the whole ball?
Q?
Q.
Q seems to not have powers anymore.
Well,
Q had powers at some point. Yeah, and he has been there for a while, so who knows how long Q has been there.
And he is apparently working as a therapist.
Sure.
Therapists can make some good money.
Especially if you live in California.
Yeah.
And if he knows certain features of certain things, you can make bets and make some money.
He's Biff Tannen. Any final thoughts on the episode?
So, not Laris has doubts.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Look, I get it. I understand it. It's that motherhood cling thing. But really, that's a question that comes out of your mouth when literal time travelers from the future come from the future to tell you otherwise. And you still have that question. Exactly.
I'm so glad I asked you to add that sound.
I hate time travel. All right.
I'm not a big fan.
I was saying this earlier.
Being misdirected.
Oh yeah, no. I honestly, I think this. I don't know what the hell is going on here, but it's not what the hell is ever going on here. But this is like episode 6 of what, 12?
10.
Yes, there's no way in hell this is a primary plot point.
Okay, I'm going to say something real quick about all this. We have had the exact same conversation about all of these really short episode shows that we're 6 episodes in and we don't know what's going on. All of these episodes are unrelated. How is this all fitting together? And it always does.
Not always. Not always. Not always.
Book of Boba Fett was an exception.
Discovery Season 2. The fact that they understood that there were 7 more lights.
It'll all come together.
The point is we still have more episodes, and each episode has a lot of information. Some of it seems inconsequential, and we say the same thing every single time. So
we appear to be caught in some sort of causality.
Shut up.
We could have said these things couple hundred, dozens, hundreds of times.
Oh wait, I just destroyed the galaxy. I screamed. Oh wait, that's Discovery Season 2. Never mind.
It's the old Chekhov line. It's the
All
old
right,
Chekhov line. If a gun is shown in the first act, it'll go off by the third act.
Exactly. That's what I still don't get. We've had our Chekhov's. We've had our Chekhov's gun already.
Twice.
The fucking communicator. Rios' communicator in the clinic. Apparently, it's still fucking there. Nobody's thought to pick it up. And we've been back how many times now?
Once.
Twice.
Well, twice, including last night.
Hey, and Rios did bring up the kid.
It's like, nobody's picked up that communicator. Are we going to run into the whales situation?
No, it'll be more like piece of the action.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they explained that when Seven and Rafi went to the hospital, they picked it up, just off screen that they picked it up because they're in the hospital. You think Rios would have been there, like, hey, is my little pin here?
I mean,
all right,
that would be something to mention.
Let's wrap up this discussion and move on to our second review of the night, and that being.
Did you review it?
I did
Ross
not.
did.
But I said
wow,
quite a bit about what I thought about the episode. It was a really interesting one. I loved the reveal of mad scientist Soong. Like, we didn't see that coming, but still, just seeing the absolute terror that he's unleashed on all of these lives that were cut short because of his mistakes is just, ugh. And that seems to be a theme with the things I've been watching this week. Like you guys, I was disappointed that Jerry Ryan had so little to do in this episode, despite having a good bit of screen time. Most notably in the clinic, where Rafi's looking to her for reinforcement, and all she does is shake her head. I'm like, come on, say something. What's wrong? What's going on?
It's like they cut out dialogue or whatever. Like I don't know, but
I think it was just a weird thing in screenwriting. Like the director wanted to include her, but there wasn't anything in the script. Something you said, Greg, about I had it just for a second and it's gone.
Getting old, Ross.
Rafi and yes, Picard has been through a lot. He's lost a lot. And so has Rafi, but Rafi has lost a lot in a very different way that Picard can't experience. She has lost her family, but they're still there. Her own son disowned her. So when she essentially adopted Elnor, her connection to him is strong, potentially stronger than Picard's, who's, even though he was quite fond of Elnor, he still kind of kept him at arm's length and essentially abandoned him with the Quat Malat. While Rafi has taken him under his wing, she's been a mother to him in a way that Picard was never really a father. Picard was more of the cool uncle who dropped by every few months. So,
hey, I'm sorry.
I feel that to her, loss of Rafi is much more like losing a child all over again.
The loss of Elnor.
Yeah.
You said loss of Rafi.
Rafi's loss of Elnor.
Acceptable.
And of course, stealing the show again is Girardi and the Borg Queen.
And Tony Armstrong says somebody from Temporal Investigations will take care of the communicator later.
If Temporal Investigations even exists in the future at this point. All right. That concludes our discussion on Star Trek Picard. If you guys watching have any thoughts about the episode, share it in the comments, and let's hear.
You might get highlighted.
Yes. Now, on to our second review of the night, and that is Halo. Oh my God!
What carnage!
Let me get this out of the way. In the first two episodes, I had said that I was interested in where the show was going because it was diverging so significantly from the source material. I'm getting a little concerned now because it's getting to the point where it's practically unrecognizable. I'm still invested in this series, but I don't know where it's going.
Hang on a second.
Spoiler alert.
It's very strange to me. This show is showing me a familiar setting, familiar characters, and in one specific case, a very familiar voice. But at the same time, it's so different. And on one hand, it's doing a very good job of really showing every aspect of the Halo universe in a way that they couldn't in the very first game. The first game was an introduction to a setting and a brief touch on the characters and the conflicts in a first-person shooter game, mostly as a vehicle to get you from one firefight to the next in a beautiful setting. And this series isn't doing that. It's setting up a large space opera story with multiple facets that's building off over a decade and more of source material. And it's doing a good job of that, I think. But it's changed that story in so many ways that it kind of gives me whiplash.
Halo series has been blessed by good writers doing the novelizations and really good writers, not just your B list, C list writers. A list writers have come on board and done Halo novels, and because the money's very good and the exposure is even better for these writers. So I mean, they do. There is a precedent for this. For it to diverging from the material, from the game material, per
And
se.
I'm not saying the series is bad because of that divergence. I'm just trying to reconcile what I remember from the series with what they're doing in the series. It's all so different. I'll do a quick synopsis as well. So in episode 1 and 2, we saw the Master Chief respond to a distress call from a rebel outpost on the planet of Madrigal. The outpost is completely wiped out, 150 people killed by 20 elites. That leads them to finding an artifact and taking the lone survivor back to Reach for interrogation. John interacts with the artifact and has a vision. There's so much to... I'm trying to summarize it. It's not coming as smoothly as the Star Trek one. I apologize.
Come on, Ross. Come on. Strategize.
The device gives the Master Chief visions, memories of his past. And because of this, when he's given an order to execute the survivor, a 16-year-old girl, he refuses. He rebels, he breaks free, and he sends her to the one place that he knows that she'll be safe. A renegade outpost out in deep space. He deposits her there and finds out more about the artifact and what the Covenant wants from it. And that's where we get our first mention of the Halo. There's so much. I'll just stick with this episode. Master Chief, in order to get back into combat readiness, is being paired with an AI that's being created from a flash clone of Dr. Halsey herself. A living, breathing individual is being harvested. Her brain is being digitized and seemingly atomized to create an AI. And that's not even the worst part of it. The first 5 minutes of this episode is on a child slave labor planet that is attacked, we just see an endless sea of human misery as guards mercilessly beat children to gain resources. The full brutality and despotic nature of the UEG and the UNSC is on full display in this episode.
Almost like Amazon went to the future.
It kind of sounds like Aperture Science Laboratories decided to become a government organization.
Kinda. It's the true horror of the Halo universe is on full display, and that's one of the things I'm having a hard time reconciling is when I'm going back and forth. I'm sorry. When Halo was first released, it was the story about a hero rising up and delivering humanity from extinction. But that's not what we're getting in Halo. We are getting the depths of horror that humanity is descending into to survive. Justin, stop that. Just how humanity is allowing itself to descend into Warhammer 40K, essentially.
I was going to
just
say
without the religious dogma.
Damn, I like
it's
that.
Grimdark. Halo is Grimdark.
Halo's Grimdark now.
It was always Grimdark once you got it, as you mentioned in the novels. That's where we found out that the Spartans were abducted as children, replaced with flash clones, and trained as child soldiers for the purpose of fighting insurrectionists, not the Covenant. That came later. Right. And holy cow. And that child slave labor planet is where the Blessed One came from. A human who is able to interact with Forerunner artifacts that will lead the Covenant to the rings, the sacred objects that is at the core of their civilization, and a weapon to destroy all life. Oh, John is paired with Cortana. We see the sacrifice of the clone. She's almost sexually assaulted moments before she's killed. Oh, this episode was hard to watch.
It's kind of like watching Leia Remini's documentary on Scientology, isn't it?
I haven't seen that, but I'll take your word for it.
You have to sit and think and breathe after an episode.
Yeah. Whew. And that's where we get our. And once Cortana is created and the body of cloned Halsey is disposed of, we meet Cortana, who is not a companion who's supposed to improve John's abilities. She's a control system who's supposed to fully take over John and run his body for her, turning him from a independent soldier to a combat robot, essentially. And Halsey isn't letting her because they need John. Apparently, as we see later in the episode, the artifact doesn't respond to John if he isn't in control. There is an aspect of the Master Chief that allows him to interact with the artifact that doesn't work if he's not in control of himself. How mind-boggling is that? Whew. And as John continues to rebel against his own programming, Cortana is gaslighting him. She's deceiving him into thinking that she's on his side, when in fact she's just trying to find. She's working with Halsey to find answers to figure out how this is working. Apparently, in this, the Spartans are even implanted with an emotional dampener where they can't feel pain and they can't even feel normal emotions. That's something that wasn't there in the original books, at least I think.
No.
So the other nemesis of Doctor Who, then,
the true horror of this universe. And this is juxtaposed by the Chief going out in the civilian world on Reach alone, which is also something we've never seen before, experiencing the world as it is for the first time. And the absolute nightmare that is the UNSC is compared to the familiarity of a living city where people are just going about their lives. A couple on a date, an amphitheater performance, and public transit. Okay.
I think the authors of the series took the idea of a militaocracy and said, what would it really do to our society, our global society? And I think that's what you're describing right here. It is the horror part that you're describing.
The episode ends with John breaking into the artifact chamber and getting one final vision, seeing the memories of his past and the artifact he found as a child. He armors up, Halsey finds him, he tells her what's happening, and the two of them embark. And God knows what's going to happen next. And that's not even covering what's going on with the survivor on and her wanting to go back to Madrigal and free it from the military dictator that's been installed in his place. My God, this is too familiar to the Cold War.
Her name is
it's like they slapped Halo together with Blade Runner and threw some Starship Troopers in there for good measure.
And a good bit of BattleTech without the mechs.
It's a lot easier to describe. It's a lot easier to describe than all that. Having to build a thing to No. It's easier than that. The writers are just Covenant apologists. That's it. That's all it is.
No, the Covenant's pretty horrifying in this series.
All this stuff that the UMC has been doing makes the Covenant look like good guys.
Except when the Blessed One boards a UNSC ship and then uses a hunter colony, frees it from its armor, and uses the scores, hundreds, thousands of worms to
eat the crew,
suffocate the entire crew in a slithering horde of
doing James.
You mean
but we got a reference to the Cole Protocol, which was a nice bit of allusion to the original.
Are you
Okay.
better now, Ross?
I'm gonna shut up for a while and let you guys take it. Son, how about you?
I still haven't watched a single episode, so
Uh,
I have no interest in the Halo thing. Honestly,
Justin, okay then. So Justin, what did you think of the episode?
Yes.
well, it was definitely dark.
Just a bit.
This a bit on the dark side. You know, I was able to follow along. I kind of skipped through a couple scenes just because I was like, yeah, this doesn't look like it's going to be worth anything. So I just kind of skipped through a few of it. But I mean, overall, it was all right. I'm going to stay kind of interested to see where the story goes. I mean, this is my all-time favorite. Not really, but it's interesting to watch, just to see what happens. You know, to see the rest of the story. So yeah, I'll keep at it and see where the story goes. But like, God, I hope we start seeing a little bit more familiar stuff here soon because this is really dark for Halo. I understand, you know, they have to, you know, to make it its own unique thing. Yeah, I get that, but they started off so good. It started off so good, so fun, and now we have this.
It's a bit of 40K injected into the Halo universe.
I
Maybe
will
a little
say
bit
that
of
the
Eve.
series, the episode in the series so far is good. I will
Yes.
say that it's an excellent story. It's very well done.
This is
It's just
different.
it's difficult for a fan of the series so far to kind of reconcile just how dark they're taking it, and showcasing how dark the Halo series is.
Non-Halo fans coming to this ain't gonna have a problem with it because it's about the same as half the other dark shit currently playing right now, anyways. But
If this is how dark they're taking it with humans and the Flood and the Covenant, how bad is the Flood going to be?
Speaking of how bad is Cortana going to get, because we all know how Cortana goes.
Dude, the Flood is so much worse than that.
You know,
it's
we aren't even going to get to that in this series. If we're going to the ring, we're going to see the Flood.
Hopefully,
it's going to be a horror show.
If it survives that first season,
it will. It will. Greg, what did you think of the season or the episode?
Oh God, I absolutely love the episode. I love the turn of
course.
thinking. The horror, the dark side of it. Like it was that. It's what you wanted from a game to a show like this. Is what you wanted them to stick to the whole. This isn't your 12-year-old's Halo. This is punch you in the face Halo. It's what I kind of expected from somebody like Spielberg because he is producing this show. So,
Really?
Yeah, Emblem Entertainment's a producer.
Nice.
So it's definitely I loved it from episode 1. But with this episode, like you said, it was dark, it was gritty. But see, I appreciated the way John is coming into his own, granted through some meticulous plan of Halsey, but in his own way, though, he's coming to his own. He knew to remove the emotion inhibitor. He knew he had the interaction with the artifact. Now he's got a conscience. It's like, so Halsey didn't predict any of this, but now she's using it to her advantage. I think her end game with John is going to be better than soon with his androids and daughter. I think Halsey's going to turn out to be a better, how do I put this, a better cloning parent.
It's a different mantra for artificial intelligence.
Cortana made it abundantly clear. Cortana is not John's friend. She works for Halsey and tells her, "You're going to help John with whatever he wants under my supervision. So if he wants to take that out, cool. Let him take it out. Let's see what happens." So Cortana's very much the middle woman, if you will, middle AI. I do like though that she's very much her sassy self from the games. They kept the sass there.
They got Jen Taylor to voice her, which is excellent.
Which is
yay!
It was great.
I heard the voice. I was like, "Yay, Cortana!" And then I think, "Oh, Cortana."
Exactly. But the way they made Cortana. Since Joe, I don't know if Joe's watching. Joe, on Science with Greg, So the science behind this is not so far-fetched. It's very much in theoretical territory, but in the terms of teleporting material in that sort of quantum level is
But
not outside of the realm of something 100 years down the line. So it was very gruesome to watch, though. It was like I saw her like, "Oh, I'm to be made into this," and Halsey's like, "Yes, you're basically a tool. You're flesh and blood. You're a tool. We're gonna kill you." Okay. And seeing the process, the gruesome process of going through it, I was like sitting here like, man, they're doing Hannibal Lecter proud.
It- that was straight out of Dead Space.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, and then the way they disposed of her body, it was like, okay. Um, no remorse from Halsey at all. So she's given off this very much, I care about my Spartans, but I will she's willing to kill anything to help her Spartans because she knows she can control them.
Including
Aside from
yourself,
John,
apparently.
right, and aside from John, she still very much has control over the other three. They are obeying her orders without question. However, I think it was Kai 125. She saw John take out the inhibitor, so I appreciated that sequence. So John goes through goes through his little walk. Okay, looking at through his deadpan, emotionless thought process. Then realizes, okay, let's take this out. So takes out the inhibitor, goes back, and now all of a sudden has the wave of emotions. It's like a Vulcan suddenly going through. Like, oh, I'm no longer repressing my emotions, and now he gets to experience stuff, and that's what drove him to touch the artifact again. And the second one is on his home planet. So there we go. I'm definitely interested to see what's going to happen with Quan because Soren is not going to turn her in. I think it was more or less his deadpan joking. Yeah, I'll make money off the bounty off your head too. But I think Soren's wife is going to kind of stop. Like, hey, you know what? She's family. Let's protect her. Maki, the Covenant human. Damn, her name is Charlie something, the actress, but she is doing so great with this role. The cold, heartless emotion that she just walks on the ship and just lets the Covenant thing do its thing, kill everybody. I don't care. However, kudos to the writers and to the show for not giving us this bullshit. Oh, I'll hack your computer. The first thing they did, wiped everything.
Cole Protocol.
Yep, and I love that. It wasn't some cop out like, oh, Borg hacked the Enterprise computer, or Starship Troopers a brain bug. This was the second something went wrong, wiped everything. I was like, thank you. There you go. Oh, damn it, Aubrey. So one of my I have to lick a Switch cartridge. Damn it.
Oh.
Why? This is already a difficult enough thing to talk about. Then you add this discomfort to it. Gee. Oh man!
Come on, go, go,
Okay,
go,
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 Which game is it?
Oh, Super Smash Brothers.
Oh, that's a tangy one.
Oh, it is. It's so terrible. Anyway, thanks, Aubrey. Oh, it's so bad. So, but Maki, the way she's going about it, I love that the language is very intricate, very precise with the Covenant. So, my favorite thing about the show, besides John, and I mean Master Chief, is just that the Covenant is being handled really well.
Yes,
their
yes, it
hierarchy,
is.
the elites, it's just like, and they are very, very menacing, but at the same time, it's like they clearly have a compassionate side. I really think that they're going to take care of her because they don't want to lose her. But now they have to deal with the whole okay, well, she knows what to do with the artifact, John knows what to do with the artifact, so this is obviously setting up a showdown between those two. But yeah, I know Justin was like, of course, Greg likes this. I was like, hell yes, I like this episode. I really want to see how this is going to turn out. This is more or less.
I wonder if they're going to be brothers and sisters.
The
I wonder.
energy blade in the finger.
Yes,
in a very interesting parallel to what just happened with Halsey's clone. Just right through the eye.
Yeah, that was definitely a callback already in the episode.
When she said she was going to bring the Master Chief, said it. Okay, how can she do that? She's, as far as we know, a baseline human who looks about 19.
Yeah,
20-something.
Bro.
Well, now we know she's got a freaking energy blade in her fingertip.
And see, just making a point. in John's memories, there is a couple kids. The first one we see, there's a couple kids, and then he says a white dog. Justin might be right. She might be his sister. There's clearly a connection, as right now, as we know, they're the only two humans with that ability to interact with the artifact. And so it's going to be interesting because, granted, though, she was on a trash planet working that labor versus John being taken away and him made into a Spartan.
They
So
did have an opening there with that plague that they talked about, where everyone was relocated.
True, yeah. So it'd be interesting. And
John was adopted. If he had a sibling, she might not have.
Oh, and Aubrey, the one who made me look Switch Crusher, she loves watching our review at Halo. She goes, "Oh, I forgot to watch the third episode." Well, guess what, Aubrey? Spoiler.
Big time spoilers.
Spoiler.
Unlike with our foreknowledge of Star Trek, where we've been predicting what's going to happen, I can't intelligently predict what's going to happen in the next Halo episode. Like with Star Trek Picard, we know this is going to happen. Girardi's going to be Borg Queen. 3 episodes later, there it is.
They threw us for a loop in the very. They've done a very good job of giving us nothing to go on of where this series is going and how it's going to play out.
And I very much appreciate the way they're going about it. So, Halo, this is the show that was like, hey, we want the old fans in here, but and now they're giving us the where it's like, oh, by the way, this is not what you think it is.
Yep, sorry, psych.
No, this is not the Halo of your childhood. This is the
Exactly.
Halo of your adulthood.
And small rant, if they can do this with Halo, they can do this with Gears of War. Make it happen.
You had your idealized version of what the world was like when you were a kid. Now see the grim reality of the world you live in.
And Gears of War is already gritty. Like, it's there, so they can just translate this over. And Batista walked into Warner Brothers and said, I'm playing Marcus Phoenix, and he didn't leave until they said something. So, but anyway,
sorry, you mentioned Starship Troopers before. Hey guys, Starship Troopers are haters. That's not fascism. Halo is fucking
fascism. Yes.
Oh,
and see, Raul made this point. Raul made this point about the way the way USNC is, or UNSC, but this is behind the scenes what's happening with the government on the planet. It's very much a paradise. Like you said, a couple on a date, kids are playing. This is
very
behind
recognizable.
The scenes. Yeah, this is very much like we thought it was bad with Starship Troopers. No, this is way worse.
And if they could do the same with Gears of War,
oh god, yes,
that'd be.
I'm surprised
but awesome.
Series hasn't been greenlit already, to be completely honest with you. It's one of the most successful PC and console games ever.
I loved 5 so much.
Halo. It's a competitor with Halo.
Which, Ross, we need to play that sometime.
Agreed.
But now that your computer is functioning again, and we can challenge Greg and whoop him into a corner.
Wait, which game?
Gears
of
War?
5.
Oh, I don't want to make you cry, Justin.
Oh, I mean, I have to make you cry? Yes.
Nothing makes me cry harder than Gears Tactics.
Ugh.
Ooh. Okay, you know what? Gears 3 and 5 are the only games that have made me legit tear up. Gears 3 and 5.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right. Any final thoughts on Halo?
Raul, you said you saw the first episode?
I saw the first episode. It was about what I figured it would be.
Okay. Okay. So I'm interested if that's okay with Ross. What did you think of the first episode then? Like what we talked about?
Ross or me?
Raul.
Oh, gotcha.
You said Ross, Greg.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
Raul,
if it's okay with me that he was taking charge of the conversation for a moment. Yes. Raul, tell us what you thought of the first episode in the series so far.
Well, it was almost a Starship Troopers, the book, not the series. A presentation of what a militaristic, a nationalistic militaristic would be like. And this, to be honest, it sounds to me like they're setting up a conflict with the Covenant, no duh. But the Covenant is a religious society on a warpath. It's a totally different we're talking about two different civilizations that cannot coexist because of their aims are completely different. So I'm feeling that you're going to see a lot more of the Covenant's inner workings of their government coming up very soon, from what you're describing to me.
It almost feels like they threw a little bit of Eve Online into it.
I wouldn't be surprised. The writers today in Hollywood are very game savvy.
So
Oh,
far,
and
everything we've seen of the Covenant has been of the
Citadel
Council of
thing.
the Prophets
Yeah,
and
on high charity.
For the science nerd in me, the physicist, the continued accuracy of the sound in space, I love it.
I loved that they're doing the Battlestar Galactica effect in this series. Very much so. Yeah, the Prophets are all very, very well done. If a little less spindly, but everything's a little less spindly. Even the elites have been bulked up.
they're
Yeah.
bulky. They have to compare well to the Spartans in order to be their competitors.
Yeah. Even though they're like 3 feet taller.
Sure. I mean, as best you can do.
I almost have expected to start playing commercials in the background, and we're hearing, this playing from Starship Troopers.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
It's funny though because they do say Quan does say a lot like your stupid propaganda, so they clearly do something like that.
All right. So it's been about an hour. You guys think we have enough time to talk about Moonknight?
If everybody's seen it, I'd like to.
Yeah. Everyone's seen it but Son, right?
And me.
Yeah, you've seen it?
I saw.
Oh, you saw Bootleg Batman?
I know Raul has seen it too.
Yes.
All right. Well, you guys go right ahead. Have fun talking about
Bootleg
Right.
Batman.
It's not
Now Batman completely different. But without Batman, we lost Ross. Without Batman,
No, I'm still here. I haven't seen it yet, and I don't want to be spoiled.
Okay, no worries, Ross. So without Batman, we would not have gotten a Moon Knight side of a character. But he's completely different. He's an avatar of a god, and Batman is a psychosis of Gotham City. Really, that's the big difference. They both have to do with sanity issues, but they're completely different cases. No, he's not bootleg Batman. Stop it.
All right, Raul. So, what did you think of the first 2 episodes thus far with Moon Knight?
I really loved it, and it presented. It's the run, guys. If you're following in the audience and you want to see the maybe the future of the series, it's almost the run of 2006 to 2009. I forget who was in charge of it. I think it was Fabian. I can't remember the other writer's name. But that series from Marvel is pretty much what they're basing this series off, the TV series. So it took about 10 years to translate into a show. So if you're interested in what comes up in Marvel in about 10 years, start reading now.
Okay.
But I think the episodes were great. The representation of Khonshu is almost perfect. Khonshu is an outsider in Egyptian mythology. He's old. I mean, one of the oldest gods, period, in Egyptian pantheon. So he's described as an old man in a boat, which is honestly odd why they chose the bird scarab look for him with the bandages. So I'm actually curious if he'll transform into the old man in the boat when he becomes a more sympathetic figure instead of a menacing bully. What did you think, Greg?
I'm enjoying the episode so far. I came into it ignorant, just that I've never read anything about Moon Knight, but a passing interest into Egyptian mythology, like I have Greek mythology, so I appreciate them bringing into the Egyptian gods. Ennead, the 9 gods, and then of course we have Amet, Khonshu, spelled differently, of course, but the same premise is there for him. But I like that they're using the Egyptian background for this one, so it's really bringing in another world of culture.
It's very deep, isn't it?
Yeah, and I got it. hat off to Oscar Isaac. Good Lord, that man is a national treasure with him acting in 2 different roles, just like playing off
Yes.
himself. It's great.
And he plays off himself excellently. Some actors can't pull it off. And big shout out to Ethan Hawke, amazing actor that they managed to rope into this role as the villain, per se.
Right. And Ethan Hawke is doing an amazing job. And right now, the first couple episodes in, he's coming off as a sympathetic villain that
Yes.
he. Okay, here, Justin, I'm surprised you didn't say this about Ethan Hawke's character, Harrow, that he's a discount Thanos. Judging people.
Oh, Lord. I know Justin's enjoying that too much.
Because, I mean, he's judging people before, like, it's like, it's Minority Report. He's punishing people before they commit a crime. So his way of getting rid of people is like, oh, you commit a crime in your future, you're dying. So it's like, okay, that's a bit. I like how Steven brings that point. He goes, what, you're going to kill a kid? You're going to kill a kid for a crime he may commit in 30 years? So you guys are a bunch of child killers?
And he moves away.
I love that he calls them out for that. And it really sets the tone for the episode. It's like, okay, that philosophical point is right there. If you know that someone's going to commit a crime, so you're going to kill a 10-year-old kid for a crime he's going to commit when he's 50. It's like, you really have to weigh that. I get the pun there, the scales, but it's just that I like that interaction. I like the internal conflict, and seeing Moonknight for the first time in episode 1 was great. And then now the summon the suit, it's like they tell him summon the suit, and Steven's like, what? And so finally he lets Mark take over and just absolutely owns that scene. And I like the interaction between Khonshu and Mark at the end, where we're seeing
and
that
we got
for
to
now.
see. I'm sorry, Greg, but we got to see Mr. Knight, which is the white suit, which is hilarious. It's so funny and it's so great. He looks so good in that pure white suit.
And then, of course, Mark takes over, and I like the interaction between Khonshu and Mark, because then all of a sudden, for a split second, I was like, wait, Harrow was right, because what is Khonshu doing? Oh, you'll never be done, and if you are, you won't like my next pick for the Avatar, and which will be Layla. So it's like he's going to force Mark to continue to be his Avatar, and that's what Harrow was warning us. Like, oh, he really is a douchebag. But then Khonshu then plainly tells him, like, Mark, I will not let anything bad happen to you. It's like, okay, so you kind of care about him. So I know he doesn't want to lose Mark per se.
Greg, and Bronze Age deities were very different from what I would say what our modern idea of religion is. They were very brutal, and they're displaying it perfectly. The crocodile goddess the Ethan Hawke's character worships also is a Bronze Age deity. So they're just brutal. I mean, brutal. It was a brutal time.
And we did find out a little bit of something that I kind of hinted on last week. That we find out that the Moonknight God actually can jump host from time to time. Because the villain in this was a previous host, so that means the whole thing with the actor not signing on for any more seasons after this, where they can just replace him at the end of the season if there is another season of Moonknight after this. And
so it just makes that point. And my friend Aubrey going, Gods never give a one-off ever. True. But yeah, so it'll be interesting since Khonshu has already made it clear that he can change avatars, and Oscar Isaac did not sign a multi-thing deal with Marvel, so we know we're going to get a different Mark Spector or a different, from the comics, somebody else who inhabits lets Khonshu inhabit them. It would be interesting to have Khonshu inhabit a female protagonist at this point. Like, okay, maybe it'll be Layla, the actress who plays Layla. Maybe it might be her. But so first 2 episodes in, I'm enjoying it. Justin, what about you? What do you think of it so far?
So far, it's actually not too bad. It's different, but it's got me intrigued to see where it goes.
Yeah. And son, have you seen it yet or no?
I watched half of the first episode and became unbelievably bored and turned it off.
Okay, fair enough.
I stopped after the cupcake van chase. The cupcakes,
Okay.
the cupcake
Okay.
van chase was amazing. I cannot stand the fact that we keep doing this whole he's an utter fucking wimp in everything in life. It's like I've seen this movie already. Next.
Fair enough. Okay. Any other thoughts, Justin Roll?
Well, to answer Son's question, most people are wimps. I mean, to be completely honest, when confronted with a physical situation like the Moonknight character is confronted with, Stephen, that is pretty much every man, every woman in a physical violent confrontation. It's very rare you get somebody as hard bitten as the Mark Spector personality that is well adapted to violence and violent activities.
But see, that's the thing. That's what made me so fucking bored. It's like, okay, I know he's got some dude in his head talking to him, right? I get that.
Right.
You keep not showing us that, and it's already half the fucking episode. You keep showing us not that guy, just the after effects with the
Well,
whip.
if you actually watch the rest of the episode, they do show that guy, and they do to
He
continue
shows
on
in
doing
mirrors and things like that,
Yeah.
Son. He comes later, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
supposed
watch
to be a bit of a mystery who he is and how dirty his past is.
I mean, I guess I could go back to it, but God,
If it didn't grab you, it didn't grab you, son. I understand.
Yeah.
I
Not a show for everybody, for sure.
I only came into this because I was interested in the property. It's just interested in the idea of the property itself.
Right.
I guess I'm still just so burnt out on the superhero shtick that
He's
I'm
not much of
bored.
a superhero, to be
I would
honest.
say he's an anti-hero.
He's more of a supernatural. If you want to qualify it, son. So if you want to look at him like that, and then maybe reapproach the property, that might be a better suggestion for your enjoyment.
Okay, well, I'll definitely consider that.
Oh, thank you guys for that. So then we can bring Ross back in here.
Ross.
There he is.
There is that beautiful face. Well, used to be beautiful. Now it's bearded.
Ouch.
I kid. I love Ross.
Shaving does remove 20 years.
Yes, it
It also
does.
I
makes
know
him
this,
look like-
but I like my 20 years. I'll keep them.
he also makes him look like a babyface Riker.
I look terrible with shaved. I look like I'm just a baby. Like I look like the what was that movie? The Boss Baby Boss, something like that.
Oh,
I look
no.
like that guy, and I'm like, no, I don't want to be that guy.
So you look and sound like Alec Baldwin? Oh shit.
No. Hey, no jokes, audience, please.
Well, that'll wrap up our reviews for the day. We got a couple quick gaming news topics.
Okay, Justin.
We've got a couple gaming news topics for this week. The first, up, that it was announced this week, a big surprise to everybody, that LucasArts Games is back, partnering with Devolver Digital to create
Good partnership.
Return to Monkey Island.
Play the dance music.
A
Oh,
game
we're
that
fine.
is, according to the release, apparently taking place not after the Telltale Monkey Island series, which was the last in the chronological series, but after Monkey Island 2, when Tim Schafer had originally started stepping away from the property. From the trailer, we saw something that looked within the style of the remasters of Monkey Island 1 and 2, but included a character that was introduced in Monkey Island 3, Curse of Monkey Island.
Curse of Monkey Island, yeah.
Murray, the raging skull of doom. It's Monkey Island 3, not 2.
Damn it, Greg.
So I am a big fan of the Monkey Island series. I picked up the original Monkey Island in a PC Gamer magazine that had a bunch of free retro games in it, including
Ooh,
Monkey
I got that
Island.
one.
TIE Fighter, the original 2 side-scroller Duke Nukem games. I played the hell out of that disc.
It's a good disc.
And I fell in love with the series. The third installment had come out shortly after that. And I've been hooked on it ever since. Although I did miss out on the first full 3D rendered one, but that's okay because that one was pretty terrible.
I thought the Telltale was not bad either.
No, I'm talking about the Telltale series. It had
Oh,
its
you didn't
ups
like
and
the Telltale
downs.
series?
No, I love the Telltale series.
Oh,
The
okay, gotcha.
puzzles were a little weird at times.
They were weaker than the original puzzles, for sure.
Yeah, it's like they were trying to emulate it, but it didn't quite land.
Well, they wanted a more casual audience, I think, Ross, to play more.
I mean,
Island.
let's be honest here. They're trying to simulate puzzles in a quick time event game.
Yeah, it was a lot of just taking anything in your inventory and clicking everything in environment until you figured it out.
Pretty
Very very moon logic, as the Sierra games used to say. Lunatic logic.
Lunatic logic, yeah.
Moon logic. Nobody? Jeez.
Nobody? Oh.
Anyway, so this announcement excites me that Tim Schafer and the original voice actor for Guybrush Threepwood are all coming back for a brand new game in the style that I really loved from a publisher that I actually respect.
The developer.
What's wrong with
Apparently, Better Call Saul is coming back.
No, it's what it is. It's Walter and Jesse.
Holy shit!
You're so uninterested in this that you interrupted it with a
Sorry.
Right?
Shit, blame Sean. Blame Sean. Blame
Right?
Sean.
Sent it in the chat.
So how about the rest of you guys? Are you as interested or excited about a new Monkey Island game?
I'm
What
gonna
the
play
fuck
it whenever it
is
comes out.
Yes,
I
Greg?
might stream it. Shut
I
up,
was all-
Greg.
I was like, what the fuck is Monkey Island?
And then your wife smacked you?
Exactly.
Leia, smack him.
Again.
She used to
She's
say
already
do it
been
on camera.
smacked more than once, and it's not necessary.
She's
Yeah,
just
but-
saying how
Definitely
much-
pleasurable.
she shares Ross's excitement for the new game coming out, so she'll be itching to get it.
It's fun. It's just a fun game, guys. I mean, it had great humor, good puzzles, a nice storyline. I mean, there's really not enough praise I can heap on the original series.
Son, how about you?
I guess I deserve to be hit because I've never played a Monkey Island game ever.
No, you don't deserve to be hit because
No,
it's a
no.
correctable deficiency.
But
Yes.
in my defense, I have played a game in that same vein. Well, no,
Okay.
I've played 2 games. Well, 2 franchises. I've played the Deponia series
That's a good
because I've got that one, and not too long ago I bought basically the entire Tex Murphy collection because
Oh, hell
I
yeah.
love that series.
Forgivable.
I prefer Tex Murphy because like cyberpunk detective.
Oh yeah, very cool.
comedy cyberpunk detective.
Absolutely.
I like games that
With full
interject
motion
comedy into
Plus
it.
plus FMV, that makes it hilarious.
Yes,
There's a game that's
absolutely.
currently cyberpunk and detective called Cloudpunk that's getting its own sequel. I highly recommend this. Female protagonist, strong character, interesting storylines in the near future where you're a delivery person for a company, and as you deliver, you uncover this greater story. And I highly recommend it to the audience.
I work for Vault Tech and I'm delivering all these pieces. I wonder what they're doing.
My favorite
Go ahead.
my favorite bit of anecdotes about Monkey Island is that it was that Pirates of the Caribbean, everyone's favorite pirate movie, is actually bootleg Monkey Island.
It is. The comedy, at least, is.
The comedy, the story,
Pirates of the
unknown.
Caribbean has been around since the 50s.
The best story out of the
ride,
Pirates of the
the
Caribbean
movie,
is
on the other
Stranger Tides. And Stranger Tides is based on a book by Tim Powers. You can look it up. It's not. I'm not lying. Disney bought the book rights completely from the author, and they turned it into Pirates of the Caribbean: Stranger Tides, usually called the strongest story in the series.
Whoa, time. The strongest. So people are calling Stranger Tides the strongest story in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise?
Yes, I do.
I know no one. Okay, I was about to say that's the weakest of the 5.
That's not in my book.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Stranger Tides is the worst of the 5 so far. I was gonna say, Raul, you and me gonna fight.
That's fine. I'm in
Raul
good
will
shape
win.
these days.
I mean, I wouldn't want to get into a fight with a mad Cuban. I don't think that would be a very advisable outcome.
We never
I
fight
have-
clean, by the way.
All right.
Now,
And our second.
You didn't play Monkey Island, and she'll be on my side. I'll
All
win
right. Tell us
automatically.
what you think about Monkey Island, guys. What are your memories? What do you like most about it? What are you looking
Yes.
forward to in this game? Are you excited to see more of Murray, the rolling skull of doom?
I'm just glad that they're making more of it. So hell yeah, I hope they actually bring that out. I've been kind of getting into this genre of games lately. I recently played Destroy All Humans
I love
for the
that
first
series.
time, and that game is fucking awesome, and it's got me
Great.
hooked.
And the humor is fantastic on that game.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you'd be able to pick up a human and fling them down on the ground and just learn
Well, the idea that you're the bad guy in the story is really kind of fun. It's really
It's
kind
very
of fun.
therapeutic.
Yes, it is.
Oddly enough.
Bad Days are great for. Also, a game called Overlord was another fantastic game for that.
I use Worms Armageddon for my stress relief.
Nice.
You must
All
play
right,
that
the
constantly,
second
right?
gaming topic of the week. Greg, if you'd like to lead us off on this one.
Second gaming topic of the week, come to find out, is that Sonic ended up being more popular than Pokemon. A recent study was done with most searched characters based on best-selling games from the 80s and 90s, and coming in first place with almost half the U.S. was Sonic. And for total games sold and searches of people wanting to know how to play the game. For second place, the tie came between Super Mario Brothers and Pokemon. Now, what they're saying though is that the reason Sonic is so impressive with its search, with what Google did, and I believe the company called Get Windstream, the study showed that Sonic was the impressive winner because not only did it take 21 states as the most searched game, it's also the only searched character. So when people are searching Sonic, they're looking for Sonic. When people are searching Pokemon, they're using filters like, okay, I want to look at Charmander, I want to look at Pikachu. Super Mario Brothers, oh, I want to look at Peach, I want to look at Luigi, I want to look at Toad. So they're looking at different characters. When it's Sonic, they're just looking for Sonic. They want the blue hedgehog.
That does surprise me considering the popularity of Pokemon Smash or Pass right now.
Well, look at Sonic coming into the movie. So I mean, they're looking at Sonic, looking for movie stuff,
You
and
filthy
people that
adjacent furries.
people that are coming in. Oh, you hush! People coming in that just watching Sonic, researching Sonic. They may not know the gaming franchise behind it. So
And it's interesting because, like you said with the movie, so people are like, oh, well, what's Sonic's background? It's interesting that the peak for Pokemon didn't pop because, again, when we talked about the new games coming out later this year, I honestly think Pokemon is somewhat on the decline in terms of, oh, we're getting a new game, cool. When it's Sonic, we're getting a new Sonic movie, and now people are more excited for the new Sonic property versus the new Pokemon.
Well,
And
that's because the last Pokemon movie sucked.
Hey, Detective Pikachu.
Detective
was great.
Pikachu?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I was about to say,
Entertaining, to be honest.
do not disrespect Ryan Reynolds like that.
Right?
Ryan Reynolds is great.
A lot of the rest of the list, of course, bottomed out with stuff like Ryu from Street Fighter, Zelda from Legend of Zelda, of course, and Pac-Man. But it was impressive to see Sonic take the top spot. I think the movie has a lot to do with it. Sonic has always been one of my favorite game franchises. I didn't get to play it a lot because I never had a Sega growing up. It was always Nintendo. But since now Sonic games are coming to the Switch, being with their Switch Online, they're getting Sega Genesis, all the games, and this leads into a segue to Nintendo services. Their online prices, unfortunately, are skyrocketing. It is $20 individual, 40 for a family per year. It is now going up to 50 individual, 70 for a family per year.
Well, that same thing Sony's doing. Sony's
That's
raising all
highway
their
robbery.
prices. Sony's
And-
raising all their prices for their stuff. And they're
Yeah,
adding
that's
tiered
horrible.
levels. They have, they have like 3 different tiers now, and I'm like, my God, that's just why.
Look,
So,
I can
Cyberpunk
understand
Future.
Sony. I can understand Sony doing it. Sony has a fucking library. Nintendo, bullshit. You don't know. You don't have near the online library that you could have, considering all your old fucking property, which you've admitted you won't be releasing anytime soon for the Switch Virtual anything. So fuck
Not
me
to
for your
mention-
$50.
Actually,
And-
the article I was reading said that Nintendo will be releasing more games online. That's why they're upping the price, because they're going to be releasing they're aiming to release the entire NES, SNES catalogs along with all the Sega games.
You can get all that shit on an emulator for free. I have it for
For however
free.
long that site is up.
I
Yeah.
have all the ROMs for free
Justin,
right now.
Justin, and for as long as that is up, because that can easily be copyrighted and taken down. This is, I granted, yes, paying money sucks, but I think it's kind of sucks that they're doubling the prices like this, versus like instead of
Or
$20
here's
a year,
why. Because streaming is becoming popular. The cloud gaming is becoming popular with Xbox Game
Cloud
Pass.
gaming's been around for a decade now.
Yes, but even more so now with COVID, a lot more people have been staying home playing games. More people are
No, it's not even that, Justin. It's not even that. I can tell you exactly what it
agreed.
is. Nintendo wants a bigger share of the pie for people streaming their shit elsewhere.
Well, but they won't even let people stream their shit elsewhere because
That's
people.
That's the point. That's the point, Justin. That's the point I'm making. Charge them $50 now so that they can stream Breath of the Wild 2 on YouTube, whatever, YouTube Gaming or whatever the hell it is, or on Twitch. Charge them $50 out of the fucking gate so that you have your money for the licensed product.
Yeah, except Nintendo is still taking videos down and striking those who have
Of course they are. It's Nintendo.
So I mean,
Nintendo is
greedy as fuck.
Nintendo is stuck in the 80s when it comes to their property. And they are still stuck in the 80s. Back in the 80s, there was that whole rash of fake Nintendo ROMs, and granted, some of them would literally break Nintendo systems. But like, there was that whole rash of ROMs. That's the whole reason Nintendo. That was the whole reason Nintendo came up with that Nintendo seal of approval thing, because it was their property. You could be guaranteed it was theirs. That mentality never fucking went away. And because it's the culture of Japan, it's even more reinforced. It is their property, and they're going to maintain that it is their property, and streaming services be damned.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Well,
so with this, I'm gonna be streaming Switch. I mean, like I've streamed Switch before. Nothing's happened. I'm pretty sure
you're not really a popular streamer yet either, but once you get popular enough and
there's a few streamers I know. A streamer I follow here, he's got 5,000 plus followers now, and he's actually local here in my city. He's been streaming the entire 64 catalog, and he's fine. So it's like it's Nintendo's not going to strike it down when it's just like you're not being.
I know.
You know, like the emulators, I can see them shutting the emulators down, but it's like if they do like try to shut down the streaming part of their games, then there is going to be backlash. Then all of a sudden, instead of them leading the console wars with Xbox, PS5 combined, all of a sudden they're going to go from first to third.
Well,
like, okay, well, we don't want to buy Nintendo.
That's what happened. See, Greg, that's actually what happened. That's what started this whole thing in the first place. Nintendo was nonstop striking streamers for both emulation and the old console stuff, like non-fucking stop. It's what caused Nintendo to introduce the the ambassador program thing in the first fucking place. And that was you had to pay Nintendo for the privilege of streaming their shit, and then your entire YouTube channel had to turn into a nothing but Nintendo channel.
You couldn't stream anything else.
Nope.
It'll loosen up, because I mean, with how much I'm streaming Pokemon, and yes, it's Niantic, but it's still the Pokemon Company and Nintendo. It's if they haven't done anything about Pokemon Go, they're not gonna. They're probably
Well,
losing out
it's not strictly theirs either, though.
Well,
There's
no,
a-
it's been a licensed property to Niantic.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not going to strike it down.
They
But here's
can't.
I don't think.
But here's the
Right.
thing. Nintendo, time and time again, has had to have been dragged kicking and screaming into the evolution of gaming.
Yeah.
They
Very
have
much.
they literally just banned like a tournament organization because that organization was using some kind of like LANing device.
Yes.
Because you're not even allowed to, like, you can't even like LAN network switches and shit together. They banned an entire fucking tournament, and it's like that shit is coming in every other console, and it's going to take Nintendo 5 to 10 years to realize, oh hey, we should be adding this to our shit.
You know, I hate to quote a famous Nintendo personality, but my body is not ready for Nintendo anymore.
I mean, you know, I haven't touched Nintendo in anything like we didn't really.
They have outstanding games, though, Justin. That's
Yeah,
the
they
one
do.
thing.
I
Their
just
library is quite good.
Nintendo
they
can
treat their
boast.
streamers like shit, though, and that's just
They do. I don't like that.
Okay, see, and you guys say that, but a lot of streamers I see streaming Nintendo games are streaming them just fine. There's
but they're dedicated streamers, though, and they're
they
actually
stream other content. Like they don't just stream. Like there's one streamer I know. He's got 100,000+ followers. He streams Fortnite. He streams
That's because
Pokemon.
Nintendo did eventually end up closing down their ambassador program thing.
yeah.
Right, so then there's
happened.
no issue. So then there's not going to be really an issue with streaming Nintendo games then. So
Except
it's
it's still
No, it's not.
they're still
It's not an issue about. It's not an issue about streaming Nintendo games. It's about paying the charge to access those games.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
it's like
what
buying
they're
a game
getting ready to ask for, that's stupid. I'm sorry, that's
and
just
honestly, and at this point, for their deal, $50 a year is still not bad for access to hundreds of games. Like it's not bad to pay Game Pass.
You're acting like those games already exist. They don't. They don't. Like the biggest news, the biggest hypest news we got in the past year was that like we were finally going to get Majora's Mask on the Switch, and it's like you guys have remastered that how many times for the Nintendo DS? Why is it already on the Virtual Console?
Son,
I
I know you have this gripe or whatever, but for somebody like me, it's like it's fine because it's not hurting anybody. Number one, number two, it's so you have to pay to use their content. I mean, that's the way of the world.
I'm not
That's life.
saying it's a problem to pay for their content. I'm saying it's a problem because it's not worth it. The content isn't there yet.
Okay, then we know you won't be buying it. I'll be buying it. I'll be happy to give my money to Nintendo. I've been doing it for 30 years, buying anything from SNES to 64 to GameCube.
All right. Hey guys,
But
we've gone way off topic.
Yeah.
Let's what's that, Justin?
No, don't even give him light.
Oh, no.
Oh Lord.
It's good discussion, guys, but we've gone way off base. Let's bring it back in, and we have one last topic for the night before we get into our end of show stuff, and that is a bit of Star Trek news.
and that's very moist.
And I think we already talked about it, honestly.
Kind of, yeah.
But let's go ahead and gush about it. Star Trek Picard season 3 announcements. And you know what? Let's tack in a bit of what's been going on at Star Trek Mission Chicago, because this was the first reveal from Mission Chicago. Star Trek Picard season 3 is reuniting the entire principal cast of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Jonathan Frakes, Brent Spiner, LeVar Burton, Gates McFadden, Marina Sirtis, and are all
And Michael
back.
Dorn.
And Michael Dorn are
Suck
all
it,
coming back
Carlos.
for one last hurrah with their old captain.
Suck it,
What-
Carlos, because I said last year, whenever it was reported that Michael Dorn was on to set up a card that they was going to be in the season, and Carl's like, "Oh no, you're full of it." Guess what? Guess what? Ha!
We don't know what this is going to look like yet. We got a glimpse of a scene of Picard and Riker hyping each other up before going in guns blazing.
With a phaser pointed at each other.
Not at each other.
No.
They were hyping each other up before going in for one last fight.
Yes, and it's. I've never been so excited about a casting announcement. For Christ's sake. When I saw it, I was like, okay, I don't see it anywhere because, like you said, it was a Star Trek Chicago thing. I was like, okay, but then it came out an hour later, and yeah, Leia and I about lost our collective shit. Like we saw that goes through, and then the casting announcement, we're like, oh no, and it's just like everybody,
everybody.
So I'm wondering if they're gonna play this. So clearly, they show a portrait of the Enterprise D because that's where they all were. I would love that with Riker still being reserve active status for Starfleet, that he uses his influence of like, hey, you know what? I found this ship in mothballs and pulls out the Enterprise E. Just for shits and giggles.
No. He pulls out the third nacelled D.
Yes. Oh my god, yes.
Because at this point in all that shit, this is literally the all good things ending.
Except Troy's still alive.
I mean, so okay, I get it. You've not had her in shit for like a good long time. She's not been principal cast. Come on. If you're gonna tell us that this is not the all good things ending for Picard to cap off the whole series, give us Denise Crosby. Give us Sela. Give us that kind of a thing. Give us that send off.
I mean, we already pretty much called this is going to be a tapestry / all good things / parallels type of thing, and here we go. We get the season 3 announcement, and whenever that announcement came, I was like, God damn it! I told you, Carlos, season 2 they're going to go together. Because why would they let us know that Picard was still alive in season 3?
My only gripe with
Tapestry.
the whole tapestry. My only gripe was the timing of the trailer. Now, of course, they've blundered, but I think this is obviously very much on purpose. Like, oh, we're halfway through Picard. Here's the season 3 teaser. Like, you bastards, you planned this. So I think Justin and I are right that season 2 to 3 is going to be one arc. Now, that being said, for the love of God, of all things holy in Star Trek, ditch the Borg in season 3. If you keep 7, cool, but ditch the Borg.
The Borg are going to be very much part of it, unfortunately, because they would have started off with that big old queen ship.
Unfortunately, the Queen and Jurati have been the best part of Picard season 3.
Yes, they have.
So,
but
you're not going away.
Now, the great part about this is they can make Worf look young, because since Klingons can live 100 years plus, Worf, they can make Michael Dorn still look young. So Worf should not look old. I'm just saying.
Look older.
They've already said Worf will be Worf.
Well, yeah, but yeah,
they'll probably make him look all good things old.
With Brent Spiner, however, being announced. So this is very much going to have flashbacks, I think, to Data, or they're going to bring back Alto and Ningo, because if Brent Spiner is going to be back, so you don't bring back the OG cast members. Like, oh wait, well Data has died. Now he could play Lore. That Lore could be the villain. So who knows? Because in Picard season 1, it is B4 that is disassembled that Jurati shows Picard, not Lore.
Yeah, but
could be the younger Soong.
Alto, yeah.
Or it could be another Data.
Okay.
It could be Alto performing a checkup on Picard, or Brent Spiner de-aged and playing Data from a TNG.
A holographic Data.
Or he's still on the synth planet taking care of the people there, and Geordi comes to visit to meet all of Data's kids.
Oh, I can't handle that. I can't handle that. Oh, no. Because Geordi didn't get his goodbye with Data.
Nope. Just a simple nod as he jets Data out of the ship. He shoots him out an airlock.
So that being said, I'm not going to be able to handle Geordi meeting Soji and then be like, "You remind me so much of Data," and then her go say, "Oh, he was my father," and I'm like, "I'm gonna cry." So, because Data has been was there for Data's first child, lol,
Yep.
and then now it would only make sense for him to meet Soji.
That's okay, folks. That's LAL, not LOL. Thank you.
Nice.
Which in Hindi means my beloved. So anyway, but yeah, I cannot be more stoked. I was stoked for Strange New Worlds. Now I'm like, Strange New what? Picard season 3, cool.
The Strange New World is going to be awesome. Speaking of, we also got some
did
Strange
we
New
have
Worlds
news for that too?
The Mission Chicago releasing stuff first. Dr. Mbenga, number 1, and Spock now have canonical full names.
No.
Which were taken from the comics.
No.
Let me just mute Greg real quick. Hold on.
And novels.
Beta canon becomes alpha canon.
No.
David Mack has named several characters. Number 1 is Commander Una. Spock has several preceding names that no one's going to remember. And of course, Dr. Mbenga is also getting a first name. So that's pretty awesome. We're getting more fleshed out characters.
The Spock names, like canon with the books and everything like that. So they're not going to necessarily say it on the show all the time.
One little tidbit real quick. I noticed this in Star Trek Picard, and I caught it like in something else. When Rios hands his ID, it says May 5th, 1978. The release for Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which, fun fact, Chris, oh my god, Rios' actor. Santiago.
Yeah.
He was born on May 5th. So that is his actual birthday.
Did you see his name though? And that the ID for his name?
Yes, it was all from
Kelly. Kelly.
It was all from every iteration of Bones. DeForest Kelly,
DeForest Kelly, Leonard, and the Urban.
Carl
Urban. Yeah.
Yes. The production team on Picard are really just nailing it with all the Easter eggs.
Better than Lower Decks.
Speaking of Lower Decks, we got our first teaser for season 3.
Peanut Hamper's coming back.
The Lower Deckers are going to steal the Cerritos.
Lower Decks, the undiscovered country.
The search for
Spock.
The search for Freeman.
The undiscovered audience is more like
now it's the voyage home.
We also got to look at the props for Strange New Worlds, which are looking more and more TOS with a little extra sleekness to them.
There is an updated TOS version, which what Discovery should have had.
Discovery was in between Where No Man Has Gone Before and TOS.
Yes.
So yes, it's going to look like a transition between the two. And now we're seeing that transition progress even farther. We've gone from the banana phaser to the linear phaser.
Which looks so good. They did such a good job on those props. There's pictures like all over the net right now. People got close up of these things, and I cannot wait to see them in action.
Then we'll go from the linear phaser to the Dustbuster.
I'm interested to see their iteration on the Phaser 3, the rifle.
I will say this for Lower Decks. I really appreciated everybody coming out and getting a look at the live action version of the characters. Now, Jack Quaid, damn it, you can't pull off purple hair. I'm just throwing it out there. But
he tried.
It was great though. I would love for it to be a hint if we were to see Boimer in Picard season 3 or Mariner, because they Riker could very easily be like, hey, I know this officer from way back when, or this was my helmsman on the Titan. They could port over Lower Decks into live action.
If you remember, there was an article or two a while back saying there was a crossover in the
Yes.
works
That's right.
of Picard and Discovery and Lower Decks.
Lower Deck. Mhm.
And I think they even said Prodigy at one point, but they were trying to aim for a in-game type of, crossover.
They specifically said Avenger style crossover.
Yes, so
Lower Decks season 3. Dude, where's my Doritos?
Okay, mute son. No.
Any other
but
news
that was
from any other news from Mission Chicago that I missed?
They introduced the new Star Trek Online 1 to 2 mission arc thing.
The latest chapter in the ongoing mirror arc, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, that is something else that I read, that there is now going to be official crossover between Star Trek Online and IDW Comics.
Okay.
Which is pretty huge for me because of this reason. Back in 2016, I was at the Las Vegas convention with the podcast, The GNT Show, which has been gone for quite some time. But I was helping man their booth, promote the show, and meet a bunch of people. There were 3 guests at that booth. Authors Dayton Ward and Kevin Dillmore, Chaos Incarnate, and artist J.K. Woodward, who had done a whole bunch of excellent stuff for IDW. And he and I got to talking about different iterations in Trek and what areas the comic books could explore. He had just wrapped up City on the Edge of Forever, the original the original screenplay by not L. Ron Hubbard. What was the author's name?
Which one?
Big drama about it.
The City on the Edge of Forever.
Yeah.
Oh, 1 second.
Anyway, but he and I got to talking, and I started talking about Star Trek Online as the booth was right across from us. I filled him in on all the different storylines that they've done so far, the fate of Romulus, some bit of the Mirror Universe, the state of the which
Klingon Empire
was Delta Rising on.
But
yeah, we did talk about all of the Klingon and the renewed Federation Starfleet war, how it resolved, and we started talking about what comics could do with the Star Trek Online continuity. I introduced him to a few of the devs. I'll never get credit for this, and that's okay, but I did this. I'm taking credit for it for myself.
Okay, Ross, come down off your cloud. It's okay.
Hold on. Ready for this? On this week's episode of X-Files.
Like I said, I'll never get credit for it. I'm not going to ask to get credit for it, but for me, this is pretty big, and I'm really happy.
Raul, did you find the name of the author?
Yes, Harlan Ellison, which loved drama.
Yes.
You're right.
Absolutely loved drama. He was a big drama queen, so he just was.
Yeah. The screenplay was pretty interesting, especially
he's an amazing writer. He's an amazing writer. Big problems with dealing
as
with
it was presented in the graphic novel. It would have been an incredible story, but a lot of it didn't fit into what they were trying to do with Star Trek, both in theme and in budget. But oddly enough, Discovery kind of corrected a little bit of it there.
Discovery.
Hey, it gave the Guardian of Forever a lot more personality and character, which as it was meant to be.
Yes. Quite, Greg.
Awesome.
Quite, Greg.
Anyway,
the only thing we didn't get was Tarka falling into his son over and over and over again.
Or kids screaming and causing the destruction of galaxy.
Justin.
What?
Any other news out of Mission Chicago?
I think
Will having a blast.
Yeah. Fan sets will be doing more pins, including the ranks from the movie era, and I do believe the what are the com badges? The funky one with the spikes.
Hold on, this is for Justin. Here's news out of Star Trek Chicago. Alec Peters isn't there.
You finally ran out of money. Thank God.
So,
Oh no! Oh God!
Jesus.
okay.
What?
What?
Do we have to talk after the show?
Yeah. No, you mentioned Alec Peters, so I had to throw in fans getting splattered
This-
upside
This
the ass.
wasn't necessarily something from Mission Chicago, but continuing in the same vein, Ross, the devs from Star Trek Online have said, like, quite clearly that they're actually seeing more and more involvement for the next season of Picard.
Ooh.
So we're gonna
So-
see some more. We're gonna see more STO ships in Picard.
Quite
Good.
We're
well.
going to see the Verity.
The
I
Verity.
want to see the I want to see
We're
the
gonna see the-
Odyssey class.
the
I want
Odyssey
to see
class.
the Odyssey.
So you got to remember, like, what we're getting out of Star Trek Online are the redesign ships that Stowe is making
Right.
itself.
Wait a minute. What if the ship that the crew is on in season 3 is the Enterprise F?
That would blow my mind. That would be
In
pretty
beta
awesome.
canon-
With
hold
Captain
on.
Thrawn.
No, Justin, you're already wrong. Isn't in beta canon Worf captain of the Enterprise F?
In the books, he is. And the
Not
captain of the E.
It's still Picard in command of the Enterprise in beta canon, but beta canon ends in 23.
09.
No.
No.
It's 23. I think 86 or 89 with the novel event that I'm currently reading through. They gave a definitive end to the old beta canon with Avengers level threat.
Okay.
Well, the Picard novels, Worf did wind up becoming the captain of the Enterprise, as they needed the Enterprise to be on a goodwill mission, front lines and all that. And,
Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
but it wasn't the first choice because of Worf's past with on the Deep Space Nine episode where he saved as he is instead of saving the person on the planet. So that almost cost him his command, but he ended up getting his command anyway. So I don't know. They go with the beta. If they go with the beta canon at this point, it is the Enterprise F, and Enterprise E has been retired because of
All right. Here we go.
whatever reason.
Haley. This is Captain Wesley Crusher of the United Federation of
No.
Starship Enterprise.
No.
Captain Crusher of the Enterprise.
I would
No.
only accept that. I would only accept that if Wesley Crusher was played by internet celebrity Saber Spark, because he looks like Wesley he looks like Will Wheaton without being fucking Will Wheaton.
Wesley Crusher is a traveler at this point. He
Except
is
in
far
Nemesis.
beyond the
He was a
mundanity
lieutenant in
of
Nemesis.
He was a
Starfleet.
lieutenant in Nemesis.
He's in reserve status. He can come back and put on a uniform whenever the hell he wants.
Uh-huh.
But he is out there exploring things and places beyond our imagination, and it's
Right
there's
along
so
with
much
Captain
grandeur.
Right along
Will
with
Wheaton
Captain
is a
Beverly,
pseudo-
right along with Captain Beverly Picard.
Will Wheaton is a pseudo Q. Changed my mind.
He's a traveler.
He's a traveler.
Well, we
Pseudo
use an
Q.
excellent-
He is
By the way, I
bending
guess-
the universe with
Yeah,
his
I like
mind.
Sun's answer. Pseudo Q.
Captain Wesley Crusher of the Federation Starship Enterprise.
Shut
Fuck you.
your whore mouth, Greg.
Matter of fact, let me just put Greg on mute.
Wait a minute.
No.
Wait a minute. I know, Greg. I can.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I know
God
you're
damn it.
all gonna hate me, but you're all gonna love me too, because I know a way that all that shit could be made to happen, and we can still keep Wesley as being the traveler.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh no.
I'm bracing myself.
So Will Wheaton does some strange shit as the traveler, and it
Uh-huh.
actually sends him back in time to the episode where
No.
Riker where Riker's like on that little planet
No.
with the one fucking alien Larache. And that Larache character is actually Will Wheaton the entire fucking time. He's just been so twisted he's forgotten who he is.
I'm sorry.
No.
How you fallen? I swear.
Boo.
The
Boo. Boo.
Look, I hate Will Wheaton, so
I know you.
you guys can boo me all you want. The
How
fact that
can
Will
you
Wheaton
hate
is no longer Will Wheaton, I love that to death.
How can you hate such a beloved and loved character from such a historic back?
Yeah,
I'm
you couldn't keep a
sorry.
straight face, could you, huh?
Let's
Sorry.
move on. Was there any other final news coming out of Mission Chicago so
I
far?
think they are doing a big model of the Enterprise, the new Enterprise. They had one on display. Anivos was originally going to do it, but since Anivos was had their license stripped, rightfully so. I don't know exactly who is doing it now,
Correct.
but they will be releasing. It's kind of like the old Polar Lights kits back in the day. It looks like.
All right. Well,
Looks actually kind of fun.
Wait, Novos had their license stripped?
Oh yeah,
What did they do?
not fulfill orders.
Oh, well, I mean, when you're like the only like official seller for a whole bunch of props, yeah, no, that's
Yeah, well, I mean, they still got
Damn.
licenses for their other properties, but as far as CBS Paramount goes, they lost their Star Trek license.
Hmm.
Yeah,
All
a lot
right.
of it was people ordering uniforms and not getting them.
let's move on to our final topics of the night, and that
We have those.
is what are we watching? So, Justin, what have you been watching this week?
Ross, Bao, and Greg, and Son.
What?
The one I'm watching right now.
Oh wow.
No, I've
See,
been
you call
gaming a lot.
my idea shit. He just pulled a granddad joke out of his ass.
Yes, I did. Well,
What
I've
are
been
you
doing a lot.
watching this week? Not
I've
right
been
now.
doing gaming a lot this week. Other than Discover, just watching a little bit of Discovery, just kind of recap the season. Because if you binge watch it all the way through, the season makes sense. Even the filler episode. I know, Ross. Calm down. It's fine. They're much needed parts of the whole, but they make much more sense when you watch the whole damn thing instead of watching them in weekly segments. I've been doing. Let's see, what have I been playing? Mortal Kombat 11.
Nice.
Fun storyline. I been doing Microsoft Flight Simulator a little bit, just kind of, getting my Blight things that I haven't been playing Star Citizen. I've been waiting for the 317 patch to drop, which is hopefully here within the next week or so, because, I gotta have my Flight Sim games. Let's see here. Young Justice is back with more episodes. I think they just dropped 4 episodes.
Wait,
4
there's more?
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't know. I just seen that the other day. It's like, oh hey, Young Justice has more
Did you
episodes.
talk about that before?
No. Oh, we talked about them running up to their finale that they had where Superboy died, but after that, didn't
I didn't
really
know
know
they did
they
more.
Yeah, they did more. I was like, oh, cool. I didn't know that was a thing. But yeah, let's see here. Superman Lois has been great so far this week. They didn't do one this week, but I would recommend catching up on it if you haven't seen it yet this season. They're doing, as a CW show goes, they're doing a hell of a job. But other than that, that's pretty much about it. I don't really watch anything else other than my usual YouTube stuff, which would bore everybody to death. And do what?
Please don't.
Oh,
Like right
you mean
now?
like Pokemon?
Please don't, both of you.
All right. Thank you, Justin. Greg, what have you been watching this week?
Typical stuff. Still do my rewatch of Dragon Ball Z for fun. Kiddo's
Boring.
enjoying it. Also our typical Moon Knight, Halo. I was excited to see. I didn't put it on the Trello. I forgot, but I'm excited to put on there though. Favorite show of mine from Netflix, Pacific Rim: The Black Season 2 comes out April 19th.
Ooh.
Oh, so is Ultraman Season 2, by the way, for
Yes.
those who follow the animated version of that comes out.
Don't hijack my segment, Justin. You're hijacking.
No.
You'll
be
Very
right.
glad to hear more Pacific Rim.
But yeah, so Pacific Rim, the Black Season 1 was great. Season 2 comes out April 19th. The trailer was released just a couple days ago, so It looks really, really good. I'm looking forward to it. Other than that, just just basic rewatches. Nothing too exciting. Typical week.
All right. Thank you, Greg. Raul, what have you been watching this week?
Well, I know that you guys have covered this already, but I ended up in the early part of the week watching two things: The Eternals and
Okay.
the season 4 of Cobra Kai.
Okay,
Cool.
hold on. Cobra Kai, thumbs up, thumbs down for season 4. What do you give it?
Oh, thumbs up, thumbs up.
Thank you.
Yes, you get to stay in the circle.
Look, it ended on a down note for sure, but it was so optimistic, even in its defeat of our heroes, and the villains are more delicious than ever. When you add another basic sensei who's opening up Cobra Kai across the valley, really interesting dynamics. Well acted people. It's so sticky to me. I can't get over the season it's one of the shows that honestly.
Justin, your mic, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize. I thought it was Raul, but cutting out. Sorry.
Nah, man. Sounded like
So,
a zoo over there.
Yeah, and the Eternals interesting in the fact that the person that wrote it probably studied a Gnostic text from about 300 or 400 years ago. Gnosticism is a type of splinter off of Christianity that is really interesting, and basically the Eternals embody in totality. When you watch the movie itself, not so good. Some of the acting is fantastic. Angelina Jolie, really good as kind of a loose cannon character. I wasn't expecting that, but some of the acting is just atrocious, and you groan every time they come on the scene. But that's what happens with an ensemble cast. I'm not as disappointed as other people in the Eternals because I wasn't expecting much in the first place. So I was surprised at the good parts that I did see.
Nice.
Miss
Oh,
Sun?
you was right. You was right about that because that movie. And by the way,
It's Sun's turn.
Sun's turn, dear.
So what have you been watching this week as you make me lose my glasses for a few minutes?
You owe me 10 minutes of that. That thing's been up there for 10 minutes. You weren't paying attention.
So, Sun,
Well,
what
now
have
I'm
you
not
been
going to
watching?
be able to pay attention for anything because I can't see.
Exactly. That was the whole point.
What have you been watching this week, son?
So this
we can have
week,
our way, Rod.
after a little insight from Justin at the end of last week's podcast, I found myself finally watching the Conan movies for the first time. The Arnold movies, because I've not had access to them wherever the hell they are right now. So finally having access to them was nice, and that was. Good God, James Earl Jones was young once.
Yes, he was. He was a charismatic actor at one point, instead of just menacing Dark Lord of the Sith.
And you know what? I actually have on DVD his acting debut, Dr. Strangelove.
Yes,
James Earl
That
Jones
was his debut?
Yeah, it was. He's one of the bomber crew in that movie. And
the stand-in for the Tuscany Airmen, basically, in the movie.
And it was just like, wow, James Earl Jones was really young.
He was good looking too, wasn't he, son?
And they gave him straight hair and blue contacts. So
he looked great.
He literally was a snake. He was very fucking hypnotic in that movie.
He was awesome. He made the movie for me. Of course, Arnold did a great job, but forgive me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Grace Jones in this one too, or was she a Conqueror?
Conan the Destroyer.
Yeah, I have to say that since you watched them both, I love Man, I love me some Grace Jones. She was so awesome.
It's like watch the first movie. It's like James Earl Jones. Oh, James Earl Jones is dead, but he was an asshole, so it's okay. How are they gonna keep my attention in this next movie? Oh, Grace Jones from like the James Bond movie. Awesome.
Yeah, yeah, and she's the same character basically. She's this
Pretty
boss
much.
girl. She's this boss girl who doesn't take any shit. I loved it.
And I don't know if this was just Arnold acting or not in the second movie, but Drunk Conan is best Conan. Drunk Conan in the second movie was great.
Son.
So yeah, that was earlier this week. Earlier today, like last week, I've been doing a Saturday matinee in a Discord server, and this week we watched Hook. Finally, hooray! And these kiddos really seemed to enjoy it when Thud came on the screen. Thud is the fat black kid with the Scottish beret with a little poof on it that rolls himself up into a ball. Yeah. They loved Thud.
The movie just timeless. I think it's like Princess Bride.
One of Robin Williams' best.
Yeah. Again, young Julia Roberts was playing a tomboy even then.
And I'm not a big fan of Julia Roberts, but man, did she do good in that movie.
Yeah, no,
Best Tinkerbell.
Best Tinkerbell.
Sassy Tinkerbell. She
Very.
was Navi before Navi was Navi. So yeah, that's that. I also have to say this is a pre. What are we watching for next week? Next week, I'm going to be showing the 18 plus in the server, Barbarella.
Ooh, that's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 60s kind of sex-fi flick. So yeah, I look forward to that.
It's not even funny, son. You should just get ready for them.
I mean, no. I mean, like I've seen the movie, so I know what to expect. They haven't.
Yeah, the channel, the server she's talking about is a lot of relatively younger people, mostly under 30.
Oh, you mean squeakers? I understand that.
Yeah. They like this is why I'm showing them a whole bunch of 80s flicks. Like after Barbarella, I'm going to be showing My Stepmother's an Alien.
Oh, I love that. How about the babysitter? What was the babysitter movie? I can't remember the title.
Adventures in Babysitting.
Yeah, you should show them that. That's fun.
I have it on the list.
Flight of the Navigator and Lady Hawk would be my picks.
I have both of those on the list as well.
Outstanding. I need to be there for those.
I have
you're a romantic soul, Ross.
I have Escape from New York and Escape from LA.
Oh hell
yes, I love them both. And the second one with our boy Bruce Campbell.
Mm-hmm. I also have Honey, I Shrunk the Kids on the list too, because none of them have ever heard of this movie, and it's like, how do you not know what this movie is?
What about Coneheads?
Huh? Coneheads is on the list.
Any of you guys in the audience, if you have any retro movies that you have a great fondness of and think that the younger generation, oh my God, I sound old. The younger generations need to be cultured. Share it with us. We want to hear
We're
it.
all old. We are all old. Okay, we're all boomers.
Great. Whoa, what happened?
Whoa.
I don't
know. He left.
Ross hit the wrong button. I bet he hit the wrong button.
And
I hit nothing. I just had a hiccup, I think.
As it is Ross's show,
Right,
you know age.
Since we saved the best for last, Ross, what did you watch this week?
Well, while the wife was in Louisiana, we were able to stream a couple of movies together via Discord and Disney Plus's sharing function. And
oh my God,
watched...
you're Lillian Marshall from How I Met Your Mother.
We're only able to watch half a movie a night on average. So we, over the course of the week, we watched both Iron Man 2 and the first half of Thor.
Oh, great movie.
One was real
Yeah,
good. The other one was
choices.
punishment.
Her response when she asked what was next, and I said Thor. She was like, "What?" I said Chris Hemsworth. Yum yum yum. and Tom Hiddleston. Yum 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 yum.
So your wife turned into Pac-Man. Okay. No, Mrs. Pac-Man.
Oh no!
But I've also been listening to Star Trek Coda. That's the name of the book series I was talking about, where they're ending the continuity of the novels with a big finale, reality-ending event.
Who's writing it?
What?
Who's the writer of Coda?
Dayton Ward's written.
Dayton Ward, David Mack, and James Swallow.
Yeah.
Oh, what a team! What a team!
Yeah. And also, as I talked about a bit earlier before the show, I have been heavy into. While we were watching movies, I was also doing some hobby stuff. So I was able to complete a couple models, such as this one. Not only with painting, assembling,
unfortunately,
and
it's now, guys. I'm so sorry.
But also,
it's magnetic.
Come on, magnetization.
Nice.
So I can swap out loadouts as needed. Pretty awesome.
Truly something they should have included in their sets. I don't understand why it's not perfect.
Plenty of third-party folks out there to supply.
Sure. Lots of
and
it.
It's all part of the fun for me. So
absolutely.
That is what I've been watching and hobbying this week. And now the glass
guys, one thing I want to ask is any conventions?
Any what?
Conventions? Maybe in the audience?
We've got Mission Chicago going on right now.
Right.
which is a big tabletop wargaming event, just concluded. Next month is the Des Moines Comic-Con, which I'm going to be attending. That's going to be
Steel City Con is also going on. And next year in May, Star Trek Mission Seattle is going to be going on. So that's going on, I think, on the 25th of May.
I will be in Poland.
Poland?
Yeah, I'm next May. I'm going to be in Poland for a week for my best friend's wedding as best man.
Nice.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
So lots of Polish sausages everywhere. Gotcha.
What is the name of the place? There's a place called Noble Knight Games. I don't know. I can't tell you where it's at. They're doing like a massive tabletop RPG like trade-in event, and a friend of mine is going. And she showed me pictures of what she's taking. She's like, this is only a fifth of what we're owned, but this is what we're trading in. And I'm like, holy shit, that's an entire back of your van. What the hell?
Yeah,
there's been around for like 20 years. So
there's people out there who do all trucks of these things.
Some of these are like 80s and 90s Grups books.
Yep.
And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, she's hoping to get like a good chunk of trade-in change for them. And I'm like, no,
what's he planning to get?
Some of these you're going to trade in, and whoever's checking them in is going to go, oh my God, really? We can't even find this. And it's like that's where you lean in and you go, yeah, I hope that's worth $100 or $200 in store credit.
If they have first edition for Warhammer, the Land Crusaders, they're these. They look like World War II tanks, son, and they're worth a ton of money. Collectors go crazy for them.
Warhammer 40K models hold their value really well. The second,
yes, they do.
The reseller market is pretty good.
That
reminds me. This has been going around social media for a bit. There is currently a divorce case happening. I don't know exactly where, but the current big battle between the two partners is how to divide the Tau army that they've been building for the last 7 years.
Oh no!
Wow.
That's
see, it just proves no matter what happens, the Tau are screwed.
Boy, even Sun knows that, and she doesn't play.
There's a bunch of 40K fans in the server she's talking about too.
Oh, good. So you've been learning a little bit by osmosis, son?
Pretty much, yeah. It's
Poor
by
son.
osmosis mostly, because like none of them like stream anything or you
Oh,
know,
I see.
yeah. But no, she doesn't have anything work. She's got like 2 of the Firefly tabletop adventure or like adventures.
What?
That should be worth something to collect.
Um,
Yeah, no, that's some pretty rare stuff. So it's like, Jesus. That's
What is she planning on getting, son?
she
For the
didn't say.
trade-in?
She and a friend are just at this point they're just going there to look because it's like supposed to be this big huge tabletop store.
Sure.
So they're going to go look for something that interests them, and it's like you've got Firefly and some of the D&D campaigns and like a few of like the old Grups campaigns, you know.
Right.
Alrighty. Well, hell, we have been geeking out here 20 minutes over our time here.
Yes, but that's a good kind of
Yes, I
geeking
love
out,
it.
if you ask me.
I love it.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. Dia, good to see you. Sorry you got here just at the end. Boop, by the way. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure to hang out and geek out with all of you. If you have any thoughts that you want to share about the topics that we've shared tonight, or maybe have suggestions for future topics, share it with us on Facebook, here on the comments of the video, or anywhere else that you see us on social media.
And please remember, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow. Just ignore Greg, but follow the rest of us.
We all do.
Appease the spirits of the algorithm so that we be seen by more eyes, heard by more ears, and reach more within the ether of the internet.
More nerds.
And remember,
Certified.
spay and New Year plushies.
We'll hope to
damn
see
it.
you again soon, and until next time, remember to live, to love, and to play every day. Son?
Remember, sweeties, no matter what's going on in the world or what's going on at home, you are loved and appreciated by just your being you.
Play us out, Justin.
Alrighty.